Welcome to Getting Real with John Natale. I'm your host today, John Natale, to discuss money management, especially in real estate and as a business owner. One of the honest truths about being in real estate and or owning a business, and every single real estate agent is a business owner in my mind. One of the most important truths that you understand is the wealthier you get and the better you manage your money, the more people will be around you. And that's the God's honest truth. And for a little bit, could you fake it? Could you flaunt it? And people want to be around you? Sure. But that shit catches up to you guys. And in today's episode, I'm going to give you some really practical tips to manage your money a little bit better. Some things that I've done in my life to literally change my entire financial picture, and different things you can do to really become much wealthier very, very fast. And that's without some sort of crypto or penny stock scheme. That is strictly just being able to live some really small habits that make a big difference in your life. Before we dive into that, though, I have to take a minute to thank you for listening to this podcast. By just taking some time out of your day to listen, I am so damn appreciative of you. If you could take an extra little step and share this podcast with a friend, share this episode with someone that you know maybe will get some help from managing their money a little bit better. And no, that's not an attack. If you are someone that got this message shared to, it's just somebody cares about you. Somebody wants you to be the best version of yourself. If you could like this podcast, subscribe to us if you haven't already, rate us 5 stars. Anything you can do like that, guys, that goes above and beyond, I am so damn appreciative. If you are looking for a great real estate company to join with great mentorship, great training, all the latest technology, everything you need to succeed in this business, including this studio, find the link below, especially if you're here in the state of New Jersey, to discuss joining our real estate company. If you are in one of the other 49 states or across the world, and you are looking for dynamic real estate coaching that helps get you to the next level, helps get your team and your brokerage to the next level, hit the link below, look into our Natale coaching options, and book a completely free, doesn't hurt you, completely free discovery call with me to discuss your options to join our Natale family. If you're a business owner that owns a business, wants to grow on social media, wants to grow their marketing, our Natale Media Company is about to take off. And we are looking for business owners like you. Hit the links below to book a, completely free intro call with us to discuss your options about how we can help you grow your business. Now let's dive into money management and the important things you need to know about money so you can become wealthier and more people will want to be around you. Because when more people want to be around you, your business grows. And when your business grows, you make more money, you keep more money, you invest more money, you become wealthier. And as you become wealthier, what happens? More people want to be around you. And when more people want to be around you, more business comes. Are you seeing the snowball yet? This is where if you manage your money well, kind of like the time management episode, if you do these small things really well, the snowball that it accumulates is massive change in your life, where it goes from here very quickly, step. Whoa, big jump. This is the difference money management can make for you. And if you're not living within your means, this episode is especially for you. And I'm going to share a little bit about me, my wealth journey. 5 years ago, I was 29 years old. I had a great 20s. My wife and I, we traveled all over the world, multiple times to Italy, sometimes, multiple times in a year. We lived an awesome 20s, made good money, didn't really keep much of it though, but enjoyed ourselves. But as we got to our later 20s, we started to say, well, crap, we make a lot, but our net worth, like when I actually for the first time actually tracked my net worth, I was like, hot damn. We were never in debt, had a little bit of credit card debt around 25, nipped that in the butt. Didn't really get into credit card debt after that. However, for the amount of money we made, I looked and said, okay, we own I was still leasing a car at the time. We own one used car with maybe about $10,000 of equity in it at the time. And I had a leased car we were renting, and we had maybe $10,000 in like retirements, savings-ish, retirement accounts. And now I look at 34, 5 years later, and the amount of wealth we've accumulated, well over millionaires. 6 months of all of our expenses are always in a high-yield savings account. God forbid, my wife's a teacher, she probably won't lose her job or can't lose her job, but she loses work, or if all these businesses stop being so damn profitable and now we're losing money and or just not making any money, all of our bills are paid for 6 months without a shadow of a doubt. Millionaire status, emergency fund for the rainy days that happened, plus savings, fully funded retirement accounts every year that have blossomed over the last 5 years, separate investments we've made, very, very profitable businesses, and all of it, guys, all of it came from one thing. And it wasn't just hard work. It was figuring out at 29, I needed to get on a very strict budget. And I really needed to manage my money a lot better. Because again, I could make it and earn it, but if you spend it, it goes out the door. What the hell are you doing? And not in a bad way, what the hell are you doing? Like, it doesn't mean anything. If you make $300,000 and you take home 180, 200 after taxes, and you spend it all, yes, you funded your lifestyle. Don't get me wrong. That's not a bad thing. And if you're not running credit card debt, it's okay. But many of us live that life without the eye towards the future until we get to a point where we're like, wow, I really don't want to work forever. So I don't care what age you are. The point of sharing my story is I don't care if you're 42 right now. By 47, you can be a millionaire. I don't care if you're 22. By 27, you could be a millionaire. It's really not that hard. And it starts with getting on a budget. This is the hardest thing you will do if you haven't done it just yet. And I'm going to give you a few different things I track, and especially with my coaching clients and agents here, different things we track. Number one is the budget, and we're going to get to that. Number two is your net worth. What are you actually worth? I have a whole charts and everything built out for our coaching family and exactly what they do, part of our coaching file. However, just looking at how many assets you own, how much debt you have, say, what am I actually worth right now? Starting to track that. But that's a key thing. Obviously, you want to know, how wealthy you are and then how wealthy you're growing. However, the budget is where it starts, guys. Managing your money starts with a budget. And I know if you hate on Dave Ramsey, plenty of people do. I think a lot of his strategies are outdated. But the one strategy that I utilized when I was 29 changed my life, especially after reading it to Dave Ramsey, reading his Total Money Makeover, listening to his podcast for a little bit, was to get on a budget. And this is not complicated, guys. There's plenty of apps out there that you can use. Don't get me wrong. But my wife and I still use literally the same template on Google Drive on our spreadsheet that we started 5 years ago. And the most painful part of this, guys, will be doing it for the first time. And the second most painful will be doing it for the second month. And the third most painful will be the third month. And then after you get 3 months, it's honestly like a 5-minute thing. But you are going to list out, probably have to pull up your debit card, your credit card for the last month, every single dollar you spent. And what did you spend it on? And what does the typical month look like for you? So this is past just, okay, my mortgage is this and my utilities are this. No, I want to know how much all the subscriptions are. I want to know how much you are spending, monthly on kids' toys, if you have kids school, kids' clothing, your own clothing, everything that you typically spend in a month. And it is very uncomfortable the first few months. And so you're going to look at where you are, and then most likely you're going to make some money habit changes, right? You're going to cut some things out. And then you're going to have a budget the first 3 months, and it's going to be hard to stick to it, right? You're going to lay out and say, okay, here's how much money we're going to spend. But until you track it and really start living by that, it's going to be a little complicated. And you're going to feel a little bit of frustration. But that's okay. Frustration is good because you're growing. You're growing your money management skills. And so once you have your budget and you start looking out, you go the first month, that's going to be the hard month. Second month is going to get a little easier. The third month is going to get easier than that. But again, you literally just list out your expenses, like the names of every expense, the amounts, total down at the bottom. Right next to that, I have, again, especially if you're in the real estate industry or you're a business owner, you might not know how much business you have coming next month. Like really 100% no. So I usually have my expected pay. And then if you have a spouse or someone else living with you that is contributing, what their expected pay is, their take-home pay. You put how much you have in each account that you have, build up, obviously, hopefully an emergency fund that stays separate. And then you have your entire financial picture for that month. And that's all budget has to be. It doesn't have to be too complicated, guys. It is stressful in the beginning. Don't get me wrong. If you're going to take this episode, you're going to share it with your spouse and say, hey, Dan, we need to get better with our money, and this is what we should do. That first budget meeting is not going to be fun. It's not. But after it gets easier and easier. So you're front loading the pain so you can live a great life within 3 to 6 months and be on top of your money. If you're in debt, this is an unbelievable way to get out of debt. Because if you don't, all it becomes, especially as a real estate agent, is boom, I closed 4 houses. Okay, let's pay off some debt. And then you get into that situation again and you're right back to running that credit card. I'm not sitting here saying you need to cut your credit cards. I don't use credit cards other than one for my business. And that's just so it's easy for me to track expenses. But even the companies that I own, I don't have a line of credit. I don't have a credit card for the companies I own. Everything is from a debit card with a little bit of money on it. That's it. That is it. It's how I run all of my companies. Okay. So I'm not sitting here as someone giving you BS. Like I'm piling up debt and I'm telling you to live within your means. I don't have any credit card debt. I don't have car debt. I don't have any medical debt. The only debt we have is the mortgage on our house. Only debt we have. We worked really hard to pay off any card debt we had. We worked really hard to make sure we don't have to use credit cards, like I said, build up that emergency fund. Income ebbs and flows in our industry, guys. However, you can make a little bit more predictable for you by living within your means and living on a budget. Because then if that month comes and you don't have the money for something, it becomes, okay, it's not in the budget and we're not going to do that. We're not going to spend the money on that. And there is some short-term sacrifice there that happens, guys. But once you become wealthy pretty rapidly, you don't really have to sacrifice as much. So it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. And once you have that long-term gain, guys, you are going to start to see that net worth tracker that you build out. Or if you're in our coaching family or join our coaching family one day, you'll start to see that net worth tracker go up a little bit, maybe slide down, up a little bit, slide down, up a lot of bit, slide down. And then you're going to go, whoa, holy shit. 3 years later, I'm becoming wealthy. 5 years later, wow, I've accumulated a lot. 10 years later, maybe work doesn't matter as much. Maybe you pick and choose what you work on. Maybe your spouse has a tough job and you want them to get out of it. That's what becoming wealthy gives you. It gives you freedom. You don't get to a point where you could say, okay, I have this excess $100,000 and I want to invest it in X place. I want to go buy an investment property, or I want to go, make an investment in this company, or I want to start my own business. I want to get out of being underneath someone else's umbrella and I want to do my own thing. You don't get into that position without having wealth accumulated, savings accumulated, living within your means. You don't get those opportunities. It becomes a rat race that you're in, that you're always continually trying to keep up with. So I implore you, I'm not sitting here saying you literally can't, you need to eat rice and beans a la Dave Ramsey. However, for a long time, my wife and I, and we still don't really eat out. Really, we don't spend much money, and it's just not a huge focus on us. We love to travel. We're in a young child stage right now, so that doesn't happen as often. But as I stepped out of production over the last 2 to 3 years, I have lowered my production. I haven't stepped out completely. That's a huge change in income. Huge change in income. And we went through, if you hear about business owners, when you go from like the practicing business owner to owning the business, it's a natural J curve. So you end up, if you're watching me on YouTube, or you could just envision a J, you start right here. This is where you're doing pretty well. But when you get out of producing whatever made you that type of money, it's going to drop no matter what. And it's going to valley out, kind of like a J goes down. And then there's a rapid rise. And right where I am is I'm back to where I used to be. And I'm literally looking up at that rapid rise and going, holy shit. And the whole time, what lets you sacrifice in those short-term times is living within your means and having a shit ton of savings. Before I opened this one company, the real estate company, before I did coaching, before the media company, before the studio, before anything, just the real estate company, we saved over $100,000. And I don't tell people that as like an ego thing. I just tell you that's what bought us the freedom to actually start it. Anybody who's built anything, anybody who's built a business, almost always has the same message. Before they did it, they had some runway, because there are going to be some difficult fucking times as a business owner where you're going to doubt, like, damn, is this even worth it? Maybe I should go back. And if you have to go back because you have to pay your mortgage that month, or you have to pay your Range Rover payment, or your Tesla payment is due, we're all hardworking people. We're going to go back and do what we need to do. But now I'm looking at, holy shit, look at all that I've created because we worked our ass off to save up that $100,000. That gave us freedom. That gave me freedom, the ability to do what the hell I had to do to create everything that I've created. But you don't get there, right? You don't get $100,000 out of thin air. It doesn't just fall to you. You have to live within your means and save money. Now, the cool thing is, a lot of people talk about savings. I've talked about, it a lot, even on this episode. But the cool thing about real estate is you can go out and make a fuck ton of money. Excuse my French, especially if you have a young kid near you. But let's be honest, like, if property values are not bad. Commissions are not bad. And if we're all being honest, like, the broker-agent split has been very, very favorable towards the agent these last 10 years. So you're not making the majority of it. You can go out and earn a lot of money very quickly. Like, if you're in $75,000 of debt, you can go make that over the next 6 months. If you want to get to a point where you can buy an investment property that you need $125,000 down, you can get there pretty quick. You live within your means, right? And then you have the excess savings on top of it. You narrow down your budget, and then you can go make a lot of money in this industry. It's not easy. It doesn't just fall to you. But the cool thing is you can get there pretty quickly. It's not like we have to sit here and say, oh, we're a salaried worker for $60,000 a year, and to get to $100,000 saved, it might take you 5 years. You have the ability to go out and make some damn money. So go out, obviously have that in mind, but also live within your means and keep living within your means. Because as someone who has lived this over the last 5 years, guys, when I look out and I'm shocked at the opportunities that I'm going to have with my family in our life over the next 5 because of the sacrifices we made over these last 5. And then it literally, like a J curve, it literally shoots right up. And the opportunities are endless. You get wealthier and wealthier, and you have more and more time to work on the things that you want to work on. Right now, I've been very clear on this podcast, with people in my content, I am in a huge grind phase of my life. I'm not saying not Tom Brady and saying F those kids, going to work. However, I am sitting here saying, like, I am working more than I've ever worked in my life. There are a couple nights a week after my son goes to bed, I am working, and I haven't done that in my damn career. I am all in on everything that I'm trying to grow. And it wasn't never a point of, hey, we need to do this or else the businesses are going under, because we live within our means, and even our business expenses are well within their means. So it never becomes that. And when you have the runway saved beforehand, you never have to stress about that. So you can actually have the freedom to go create something awesome for yourself and your family. But I would never be where I am today. This is the most important part, and this is where I'm going to end. I would never be where I am today if at 29, my wife didn't sit down, open up a Google spreadsheet, list our expenses, look at each other and go, wow, we spend too much, and start tracking these things. It's what led us to be able to save very quickly for a house. It's what led us to be able to save so I could open this business. It's what led us have all those freedoms to become so damn wealthy, so damn quick. And by quick, especially when it comes to wealth, talking about 5 years, guys. This is not a crypto scheme. This is not a penny stock scheme. This is not a get rich quick scheme. I'm not bullshitting you and saying, hey, this can happen in a year. You need to live this for half a decade, maybe even a decade, depending on the situation you are in right now. But you can do this. You can do this.